What up, YouTube? Here with a post-fight video for Vasiliy Lomachenko versus Jamaine Ortiz. Before I give y'all the summary of what took place in the fight, I'm going to tell y'all the results first. Vasiliy Lomachenko won via unanimous decision. It was a very close, competitive fight. I personally had the fight scored in favor of Jamaine Ortiz. I had the fight scored 116 to 114. And yeah, I thought some of the judges, I don't know what fight they were watching. I think one of them had to score like 117 to 111 in favor of Lomachenko. And that's like too wide of a margin for me to really understand where that judge's perspective of that fight was coming from. Anyways, though, let me tell y'all what took place in the fight between Lomachenko and Jamaine Ortiz. I say Lomachenko didn't really have any momentum till the end of the fight. The championship rounds is where Lomachenko was doing his thing. The earlier rounds were all Ortiz. The mid rounds were close. But I thought Ortiz outworked Lomachenko in the fight. I thought he did a good job at adjusting in the mid rounds when Lomachenko was starting to get into the groove, get into the rhythm of the fight. Ortiz, he started having a swelling on one of his eyes, and he switched stance to southpaw because he could fight from both stance. I think it was because the right eye wasn't swollen or anything like that, hence why he decided to switch stance to southpaw, so he could see better with his unaffected eye. And Lomachenko also had a mark under his eye as well. He had a bruise under his eye. That came from not really a punch, because Ortiz, I think it was the second round when that bruising started to show for Lomachenko. Ortiz went for like a clubbing left hook, and he hit Lomachenko under the eye with his wrist where the tape is at, and it was more like a what do you call it, like a contact with his wrist, and then the tape scraped along his cheekbone, hence what caused the bruising under Lomachenko's right eye. And yeah, so both fighters were marked up in this fight. And Ortiz, I was impressed with his ability to control the distance in the fight. He did a good job at keeping Lomachenko at the distance he wanted him at by establishing the jab. And anytime Lomachenko would get close enough for Ortiz to grab, Ortiz would grab and hold Lomachenko, making sure that he doesn't get in a comfortable range to start utilizing his pivots and his angles to create offense, which was very smart on behalf of Jamaine Ortiz. And Lomachenko, anytime he would have success in the fight is when Ortiz started to show signs of fatigue and started slowing down. That's when Lomachenko would start throwing his combinations, start lunging in, and start using his hand speed advantage, because Ortiz, thus being the bigger fighter, and he did use his size to his advantage in the fight. Lomachenko has the faster hands, and I would say is the more faster fighter, and he showed that in the fight. And Lomachenko, from what I've been seeing from him as of late, ever since the Teofimo Lopez fight, I don't know if it's ring rust, because he took some time off from boxing because what's going on with this country. And some people say it could be ring rust. He had a better performance versus Richard Comey than in his last fight versus Jamaine Ortiz. I don't know if it's age, father time might be catching up with Lomachenko. Of course, he's arguably the greatest amateur boxer of all time. That's where I would say he spent his primitive years. And then as a pro, he had his moments as well, won titles in, multiple divisions. And, he's used to fighting bigger guys now because he's been fighting at 135 for some time now. So he's used to fighting, guys that's of Jamaine Ortiz's stature. So, being the undersized guy doesn't really affect Lomachenko. So I'm not going to make excuses on the size difference when it comes to Lomachenko versus Ortiz a few weeks ago. He's, a slow starter. That's always been attached to his name. And he can't really, give away rounds like that. It takes him some time to get into his rhythm and get some things going for him. But with him only getting older, and the division he fights at is arguably the most competitive division in the sport right now. And Jamaine Ortiz, man, he definitely performed in the fight. Of course, to catapult him to the next level, he would have had to earn a decisive victory where it's like it makes a huge impact amongst all the viewers who saw the Lomachenko Ortiz fight. But I thought he did a good job. I thought he did enough to win the fight. Mind you, he fought Jamel Herring in Jamel Herring's last fight. He outworked him, and he definitely won that fight versus Herring. And Herring, following that fight, after that fight versus Ortiz, he announced his retirement. And I say Ortiz is definitely a name to be looked out for in the lightweight division. And the lightweight division's got a very healthy scene right now, so it's a lot of available opponents for Jamaine Ortiz. And as far as Lomachenko goes, after the fight, during the post-fight interview, Devin Haney, who successfully defended his undisputed lightweight title in the rematch versus Kambosos, he and Lomachenko had a few words. I think that's what Top Rank is going to be pushing for next. Of course, they've been teasing that fight ever since Devin Haney first won the undisputed lightweight title. And yeah, I mean, after this fight, I don't think Lomachenko, to be real, I think, there's other fighters, I would like to say, a guy like Tank Davis is more deserving of having a shot at the undisputed title versus Devin Haney than Lomachenko, especially after, this fight versus Ortiz, where I think Ortiz should have won the fight. And Lomachenko, is only getting older. Devin Haney is definitely in his prime. I can confidently say from what I've been seeing as of late, Lomachenko, I think his prime years are behind him now. So it's not the most compelling match that they can make, but it's a lucrative match that the promoters can get behind, and it would definitely be a good name if Devin Haney can get through Vasiliy Lomachenko. And at this point, I don't think, like I said, it's that much competitive. We know that Shakur Stevenson, after he successfully, he vacated his super featherweight titles because he couldn't make 130 anymore, hence why he's stepping up to lightweight. Shakur Stevenson, I say, is more deserving of a title shot, and I think would be more of a compelling matchup to see Devin Haney defend his titles versus a Shakur Stevenson. But we got to see how Shakur Stevenson does at 135 before he can challenge Devin Haney for the undisputed world titles, because we haven't seen him fight at lightweight. So, we'll see how he does in his debut. And Lomachenko, he's still one of the most popular names in the lightweight division. And, that's a marquee matchup that the sport of boxing can produce right now. Y'all let me know what y'all opinions are. How'd y'all score the fight between Ortiz and Lomachenko? It was definitely close. I want to hear y'all opinions, y'all thoughts. Comment, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And that does it for this post-fight video. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.